Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today we're having a hot time on the cold town as MbL playing as the red Mayans prepares to take on the Viper playing as the green Burgundians in game 2 of a series of 5 games that these two players have played against each other recently. Remember, if you haven't checked it out, take a look at yesterday's video, especially the introduction. This is not a tournament. It's not a best of anything. It's just 5 ranked ladder matches that these two players have played against each other, and I thought it would be fun to release them 1 game per day until we get to game 5 in 4 days from now and see exactly what the scores look like. Now, while the players herd their herdables, explore their immediate surroundings, and try to go up to Feudal as fast as possible, let's take a look at the Civ matchup we'll be watching today. Now, the Mayans are a Civ that pushes its players towards archer units. Their skirmishers can be upgraded to throw a second, albeit somewhat weaker, projectile, and their foot archers, except for skirmishers, become progressively cheaper as the game goes on, all the way up to 30% cheaper in Imperial, which, by the way, helps with massing their unique unit, the Plumed Archer. This is the fastest foot archer in the game that comes with a small attack bonus against infantry. Now, to support their ranged units on the field of battle against the enemy, Mayan walls are 50% cheaper, so archers can stay safe behind a lot of these. Now, if you want a bit more mobility, the Mayans can upgrade their Eagle Warriors to get a massive plus 40 boost to their HP, and to produce as large an army as possible. Their resources do last 15% longer, and if you notice in the beginning of the game, the Mayans do start with an extra villager, but 50 less food, which can help them reach Feudal a little bit faster so they can start taking advantage of those cheaper archer units, which, by the way, that discount 10% kicks in Feudal. Now, opposing the red Mayans, we've got the Burgundians in green. Man, an oddball civilization with some of the quirkiest features and upgrades in the entire game. Militarily, the Burgundian army focuses primarily... Oh no, the Viper loses control of a zebra there for a second. Loses control of it again. High drama with the zebra. The zebra does ultimately fall. But as I was saying, militarily, the Burgundian, their army focuses primarily on cavalry. They are the only civ in the game to have access to cavaliers in the Castle Age, and their unique unit is the Custelier. This is a medium cavalry unit that has a shock attack where every 40 seconds there is an added plus 20 or plus 25 added to its attack, all the way, I believe, up to a maximum of 40 attack for its first shock attack. I'm going to stop saying attack over and over again. Now, to support their cavalry on the field of battle, Burgundian gunpowder units come with extra attack. Oh no, I did it again. I said the word attack. They have access to a second unique unit, the Flemish Militia. This is a medium infantry unit with a decent attack bonus against cavalry. And if that's not enough for you, the Burgundians, in one of the craziest, most controversial upgrades, techs, whatever you want to call it, in the game, can conscript their entire civilian population by turning each and every one of these villagers into a Flemish militiaman, allowing even more Flemish militia to be trained from their barracks. Basically, their entire population becomes military for a brief moment until they again start building, if they do, civilian units like villagers rather. Now, in order to help for the pay for the Burgundian war machine, Burgundian stable techs are 50% cheaper. Their relics generate a little bit of gold a little bit of food in addition to gold. Their economic upgrades are available an age earlier and cost less food, and their farmers can also be upgraded so that they generate a small amount of gold while they till their fields under the hot Arabian sun, laboring in that humid heat. Maybe it's a dry heat, depends on which desert, depends on which map we're talking about. But they can also generate gold as they till their fields and labor underneath that hot sun. Now, while the players both head up to Feudal Age roughly 5 seconds apart, my goodness, let's take a look at the actual map and see whether any player is particularly advantaged or disadvantaged. The Viper, primary gold, very forward position, although secure here behind a bit of a forest. A little open to the left, a little open to the north. Primary stone, nice and secure in the back. Base, decent to wall off here to the north, to the northwest. The east, a little bit harder, a little bit longer. Secondary gold, very far off campus here. To the left, Another pile of gold very far off campus to the right as well. So some pluses, some minuses. Let's take a look at MbL's base. Primary gold, nice and secure in the back. Primary stone, a little bit off to the side. We'll call it the backside because it's, I guess, kind of facing away from the Viper. Southern portion of his base completely open. Take a look at this long distance, which explains why he's creating a partial wall off here, which I'm assuming later on in the next few minutes will become a full wall off. But the northeast, easy to wall off, and as we see, he's already walled off a portion of it. Secondary gold, where are you? Also very far off campus. And tertiary gold, also very far off campus. So both players, pluses and minuses to their base. As always in Age of Empires, there's almost never, I don't want to say never, but there's almost never a massive disparity in the bases where one has a advantage, another has an advantage in a different sense. MbL has located his opponent's base, has run a big circle around it. The Viper also has located his opponent's base and run a somewhat not a circle, but a bit of a weird loopity-loop shape around it. Kind of looks like a for those of you who watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia, it looks like that invitation to the party that they made with the muscle hand or something else, if you know the show. If you don't, highly recommend It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I think it's actually one of the longest running shows in the history of television, which is absolutely surprising given how downright filthy and disgusting it is, and just absolutely hilarious. In any event, it is MbL who is moving out here with 2 scouts, 2 skirmishers, and an archer at home. Where is the archer? Not garrisoned. Okay, he's just on patrol here, admiring the carpet. Maybe getting ready for a Mother's Day gift that he missed. Looking at a bit of a nice carpet there, wondering if he has the budget from his military stipend, his salary, to afford it. But the Viper, usually pretty damn quick to wall off his units. In this case, decides, you know what, if he goes for my villagers, I'm just going to kill him with my skirmishers and archers. And so what the hell's the point of it? Let's just engage him militarily head on. His scout cavalry, a bit of damage on him, retreats as well, heading back to the home base. MbL taking a few pot shots at these archers, takes the high ground for a moment. And now Viper has to be careful. 2 Eagle Scouts in the minimum range of these skirmishers. And skirmisher on skirmisher is a pretty lengthy battle. Both of them not exactly having the easiest time to kill each other, although numbers here go to the Viper. I'm surprised MbL retreated here. There's a skirmisher, 2 skirmishers that are pretty weak. And so he could have turned around, maybe lost 1 eagle, though. Maybe he doesn't want to lose his eagles. So I wonder if that means he wants to hold on to these units. And then we're going to see a nice big eagle transition from him. Although is it a transition if he's technically still holding onto the same unit? No, I guess not. Blacksmith, we saw the archery range. Resources, absolutely none. Not banking anything. Another eagle, another archer in the production tab for him. Let's take a look at the Viper. Man, this is a big chunk of map that the Viper is cutting out for himself, carving out for himself. Also a blacksmith, also an archery range. So both players have the requisite structures. What they don't have is the requisite resources. Although take a look at the Viper starting to amass more and more food. Spending a little bit of gold here and there on some archers. Military supply 10 to 9. Civilian supply 34 to 32. So overall supplies are 1 apart, which is not unexpected at the 15-minute mark of the game with 2 players who have such incredibly close elos. Take a look. 27-38 for MbL, 27-41 for the Viper. Literally 3 elo points apart. And so while the Viper is the favorite technically, and while the Stork sees everything, looking to drop off a baby somewhere, the elos are so close, the players are so good, it is almost impossible to call who is going to take this game. Kill count 4-2 for the Viper at this point. Both players microing their hearts out right now. MbL looking for any kind of avenue where he can engage with these eagles. I thought there was a third. I guess it died. lion watching this, ready to eat whatever bodies remain on the sand, no doubt. This is a male lion, right? With the mane? Meaning, I don't think they're the ones who hunt. I think it's the female lions of the pride who hunt, which makes the males kind of, you know, a bit lazy, let's call it. I don't know. I'm not a, I don't know too much, too many details specifically about lions. I do know, though, that it is the females of the pride who go out and hunt. And so I can just imagine these bodies of these units melting in the sand, decomposing, and the lion just kind of sauntering up to them saying, oh, look, an easy meal for me. It's like, imagine you're walking down the street and you just happen to find a bag of McDonald's. Oh man, what's inside the bag? Like Brad Pitt at the end of Seven. What's in the bag? What's in the bag? Is it a chicken sandwich? Is it a burger? In any event, you guys are not here to hear me be gross about finding food on the ground. You are here to watch Archer versus Skirmisher versus Archer. Eagle Scouts might want to get their butts in the game here. Even with 3 HP, that means you can use that unit to, I guess, tank one shot and therefore get a free shot from your archers while his archers focus on your eagle. For some reason, MbL not engaging with his whole army. Maybe he finds it easier to micro 5 units at a time, but both players incredibly close to castle. The Viper will hit at first 20 seconds ahead of his opponent. Army supply now in MbL's favor. Take a look at villager count, though. 39 to 32 for our red Mayan. How did that happen? Maybe the Viper was just way too busy microing. Yeah, take a look at the bottom right of your screen at the idle TC time. The Viper, 1 minute and 8, MbL 13 seconds. Maybe that's why he didn't want to micro all of his archer units. He was busy at home clicking that town center. Siege Workshop will come out and shoo away these crossbows for the Viper. What are you? You are still the scout. 0 kills, 13 HP. Your job here is done. The Viper will probably use him to scout around the map a little bit if he hasn't done already. So not the greatest map scouting for the Viper at this point. Not the greatest map scouting for MbL either, to be honest. Kill count's incredibly similar, 10 to 9. Not a single player has killed any villagers, which means we are hopefully heading towards a big clash between these two players. When these kinds of players don't lose villagers, you know their economies are going to be top notch. They are going to be so big, so juicy, and they're going to be able to produce so much good military, which is good for us. As I said in game number 1, doesn't really matter who wins or loses this series. Doesn't really matter how many games one player wins or one player loses. What matters is how fun the games actually are. At least that's what matters for me. You might have money riding on this game, and therefore you might actually be interested in who wins or loses. I absolutely don't. Is it even possible to gamble on Age of Empires? If not, it absolutely should be. Oh, come on. You didn't have to kill the lion. Did the lion kill the crossbow? Oh, goodness. It looked like the, I mean, it could be these crossbows, but it definitely does look like that lion managed to kill a crossbow unit. And this, guys, this is my, if you watched my cast, you know my opinion about things like this. If you're going to carve out, I'm going to zoom out. Apologies to anyone on a smaller screen. If you're going to carve out a sixth of the map, a fifth of the map like the Viper has, that leaves you very weak to things like this. There's no villager for kilometers, for miles, whatever system you use wherever you are. There are no villagers anywhere here. And so if this wasn't just 2 Eagle Scouts, one of which was basically dead, this could be very problematic for the Viper to hold on to this. Now he's sending villagers, but this might be a bit of overkill. 11 villagers. Doesn't have the stone for a town center, nor the wood, to be honest. And now the Viper pushing in with a few crossbows will lose that attack. But MbL, the bigger story here, to the north, to the west with a mangonel, and to the south, looks like he... was there a monk that he killed? No, he just ran away from the monk here that was trying to convert him. Remember, eagles do come with a nice attack bonus against monks, +8 at this stage. Second town center going up for MbL. He is now down 8 villagers despite being up before. That's because the Viper already has 1, 2, 3, and now a 4th town center up and running. Mangonel out for him. Begun the Mango Wars have, and now it's a matter of micro, although right as I say that, of course, the Viper runs away. Probably microing units somewhere else, doesn't want to jeopardize the Mangonel, but these Mangos are on the high ground, which means they can take a little bit more punishment. Now the Viper moves to the high ground. Both of these Mangonels tickling each other, having a bit of a tickle fight. Oh my god, how amazingly similar are these play styles. MbL might want to just send this villager out, to be honest. Straight towards this Mangonel. It's got 3 HP. Had that villager been there, I think that villager could have killed the Mangonel, but in any event, more important for him, I guess, to repair his Mangonel. Does he see the Viper repairing? No, he does not. At the same time, MbL continues to be annoying to the north. 3 kills for these crossbows, but Scorpion says, at this point, there is nothing much you are going to do, crossbow guys. Oh, wow. Another kill for this Mangonel. High ground. High ground. Always take the high ground. MbL has to be so careful here. A third town center going up for him. Take a look at civilian population. Is Viper rushing up to Burgundian Flemish Revolution? Usually when you're playing a Burgundian and you notice that they are rushing to produce as many villagers as possible, that might be an indication, let's put it like that. Not determinative, but an indication that they might very well want to do a Flemish Revolution where they conscript. Oh, might not even have to do that if he keeps getting shots like that off. Wow. Absolutely epic shot there by this one Mangonel. But as I was saying, it might be, oh god, I keep getting interrupted by these amazing Mangonel shots. But does finally die, this hero Mangonel. By the way, town center going down as well is no small feat for MbL, but runs straight face first into a castle. Unwilling to leave this location is MbL, saying, I'm going to even build houses. I'm going to repair my Mangonels, although immediately this one dies. What the hell was I talking about? Oh yeah, Flemish Revolution. If your opponent is rushing up, take a look, 83 villagers to your 68. If you see your opponent continuing to produce more and more and more villagers, it might be a good indication that your base is about to be attacked by a whole bunch of Flemish militiamen. And look at the Viper going up to 92 Flemish oh my god, let's call them potential Flemish militia, otherwise known as villagers. MbL pivoting to the north. Let's see how he reacts. He sees no real aggression from the Viper, although to be honest, the Viper is a somewhat of a defensive player regardless. So, you know, if this was Mr. Yo in green, for example, or an incredibly aggressive player, you might be asking yourself, okay, where is your army? Why are you not attacking? Why is there one random monk in the corner of the screen? But because it's not, because it's the Viper, MbL might just assume this is him just being his usual turtle playstyle self. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Viper predicting where the Mangonel will go, does an attack round, misses. Scorpion does die, but not before inflicting even more damage. The Viper moving out with a castle. 107 villagers for him at the end of this next production cycle. Custaliers are out. Look at that attack. 28 attack. Take a look at the bottom left of your screen. 28 attack on its first charge, but doesn't matter if it can't reach the target. Oh god, more annoying, horrendous Mangonel shots from the Viper. Oh, MbL, like I said, may not even need to do a Flemish Revolution. Oh man, that was just gross. And now the Custaliers are free to attack here. 28 attack on the first shot. MbL defensive castle sniffs the wind and says, wait a second. I don't know if you guys can hear me sniffing. Something's coming. Custaliers are coming. So I might do quite well to start defending myself here. Viper continuing to search for relics, also exploring the map with this amazing line of sight of this monk. I don't know why he's sending a second monk here, to be honest. This might just be a mistake in terms of spawning points. But he has seen that there's nothing there. Custalier's taking a lot of damage. 2 of them die. Monk caught out in the open. No, the Viper doesn't see, but deletes his own unit rather than letting him get captured into enemy hands. 121 villagers on the way for the Viper, who, by the way, sneaky Viper. Oh God, was this just bad pathing? The Viper's monk went from the top of the screen. Did he just right click this bottom left or left side of the map to get to that relic, and then the monk went through this town center? That would be absolutely hilarious if he thought he had the ability to do that. Villager on villager violence here. Custelier attacking the house. Their charge attack does not apply to, oh my god, to structures. This is so annoying. I don't know what to make of this playstyle. Imperial going up to both players. The Viper 30 seconds or so behind his opponent, getting cavalry upgrades. So while the villager count tells us he is very interested in going for a Flemish Revolution, his upgrades tell us he is very interested in doing something completely different, which is knights. However, our Mayan is going to be an Imperial. His foot archers are going to be 30% off, except for skirmishers. Relic count 2-1 for MbL. Where are the last two relics? Okay, MbL is going to make it 3-1. And the Viper is going to make it 3-2, assuming this green monk makes it home, assuming this red monk passing this adorable cactus makes it home with 1 HP. Viper wants to defend the gold, wants to protect it against any kind of raiding. Plops up another castle. Army supplies 29 for our Mayan, 20 for the Viper. 2 knights, 14 Custeliers, a Mangonel still roaming, still dangerous to crossbows. Another castle going up, a third one for our Mayans. Let's see what he decides to do. Okay, he's getting bracer, he's getting chemistry, handcart to make his villagers a little bit better. Chemistry. Burgundian vineyards for the Viper. He's got 52 on food. So remember, each one of these farmers is going to be generating gold in addition to food. The exact amount, I'm not 100% sure. For that, I suggest and highly recommend, as I always do, Spirit of the Law, whose knowledge of this game is second to none when it comes to those kinds of details. The Viper really making himself at home here. Okay, chemistry, plate barding armor. He's getting even getting guilds, gold shaft mining. Okay, he's settling in for the long term here is the Viper. Upgrades, I'm still very confused. Full armor upgrades on his cavalry. What's not confusing is this. This is a lot of cavalry. Let's take a look at the stats on the Custeliers. 6 Pierce is going to make him very difficult to deal for these plumed archers to deal with. Remember, their attack bonuses against infantry, not cavalry. 2 Palisades still up. The Viper has made himself at home at the left side of our screen, and finally MbL discovers this, although misses the structures here to the south. Wondering, hey, where the hell is this cavalry coming from? Custelier managing to get into the stone line as well, but now arbalests. This might be bad for the Viper. What's the attack speed of a Custelier, by the way? Big engage here in the center. 1.9, a pretty good attack speed too. Bombards demolish 2 trebuchets. The Custeliers and the Knights get the first one. And now our Mayan is in a little bit of trouble here. I say that, I mean, he's got the army supply lead almost 3-1, but he's got nothing to deal with these bombard cannons. Remember, they've got 5 pierce armor, and they can run away from these guys who shoot at a 10, meaning 5 damage per shot. They need 16 shots to kill a bombard cannon, do arbalests, at least in this version form. What do you want to call it? This iteration of them. I'm not too sure why MbL is leaving this colony here to the side unharassed. I guess he wants to do a full frontal attack. Elite Custelier Arson. This is what I'm talking about. The, what's it called? The upgrades suggest both Flemish Revolution, Arson, of course, allowing militia to destroy buildings a little bit quicker, or rather not a little bit quicker, depends how many infantry units you have. But fully upgraded cavalry units now. Look at that. 40 attack. 40 attack on the first shot. How insane is that? Against a unit that has 40 HP. Look at this. Watch how quickly these halberdiers melt. Not exactly one-shotting, because armor plays a role, but look at this. Look at them. They're dying, the Custeliers, obviously, because there's a castle here, and there's a lot of arbalests, but look at the ground. Look at this. Absolutely ridiculous, and ultimately, I don't know who wins out in that fight in terms of resources. The Viper laying siege from the southwest as well. Castle falls. MbL has to retreat here. This is not a fight that he can take, nor should he want to at this point. With villagers only, his entire army supply is here. Oh no, now Viper is raiding, although it needs to wake up a little bit, these three Custeliers. We saw this in game one where there was a monk and there were some eagles and there was a bit of a hangout session. Neither one really engaging into the other. But the Viper here, the Viper here, the Viper here, the Viper here, the Viper is literally everywhere. MbL saying, I forget it. I'm not even gonna bother. I'm just gonna go full frontal attack you straight on, but oh, has to be careful. The bombards, they do have a blast radius, not exactly Ethiopian, but it'll do. Oh man, a Rambai style killing of multiple units, and this is just very problematic here for our Mayan. I don't think he's got anything that can engage into this army. 32 arbalests is great, but this is a lot of Custeliers. 22 Custeliers backed up by 7 bombard cannons. Castle here saving the villagers temporarily, but the castle is going down. MbL is out of stone. Right as I say the word stone, the castle here falls as well. It looks like our Mayan is starting to collapse. The Viper using that mobility of cavalry. That being said, he just took an absolutely atrocious fight, and even though he gets a bunch of halberdiers on the retreat, overall, that was an amazing trade for MbL, trading out halberdiers, a few arbalests for a bunch of Custeliers. Custeliers not exactly super cheap. 55 food, 55 gold. Now he's entering into a choke point as well. MbL though, take a look at villager count. This is why I'm telling you it's confusing, because on the one hand, Viper is investing a lot of gold, a lot of resources into his cavalry, but he's at 148 villagers. I wonder if he just wants the option of Flemish Revolution. Remember, it used to be fixed, the cost of that upgrade or technology, whatever you want to call it. Now it's variable. There's a very small fixed cost, 200 food, 150 gold, and then it's a per villager 15 resource cost, 5 gold, 10 food. So, oh, look at the Viper. Look at the Viper. I was going to say 5 gold on this is what, 740 gold, and he's got 772, 780. We'll keep an eye on the top right of our screen and see if we can catch the Flemish Revolution occurring. I don't know, I'm so gung-ho about it. Oh god, 3 halberdiers, not exactly King Leonidas halberdiers, trying to hold the line, but look at MbL's base, gutted. There is nothing here. The Viper just using that mobility of cavalry. You know, the Meso civs are so freaking strong in certain ways, but they have such incredible weaknesses as well. And being able to respond to cavalry is definitely one of them. I mean, you can go eagles, you can try to build a lot of eagles, but again, eagles are not exactly also the cheapest unit. Didn't their food cost also just go up? Now the Viper's going skirmishers. Look at his food count. 8,000 food. Is this a random map or is this deathmatch? At this point, the Viper knows the game is his. Take a look at the scores. 5,000 and more points ahead. He's using bombards to snipe individual villagers. He is having the time of his life, and oh no. Even though he's trapped in here with 5 light cav, there really isn't much that and now take a look at not much that MbL will be able to do here. A 6th light cav as well, but take a look at how long it's going to take him to pivot. In the meantime, Treb's undefended. Oh no, castle falls. Oh, MbL is just falling apart. I don't know how you come back from this, how you re-up your army supply. His resources are non-existent. Even with a 30% discount on archers, you've got 75 food in the bank. You're down 50 army supply. Your opponent refuses to take a straight-on engage by constantly running around and threatening you with these Custeliers. Will I attack? Will he? Won't he? You know, I don't even know if the Viper knows if he's going to attack. Maybe he's sitting there taking rose petals. I will attack. I won't attack. There it is. Flemish Revolution. And they are all now Flemish militia. Take a look at their attack bonus against cavalry. Not that it will come into play at all, but +8. And take a look at the army supply of the Viper. 199 army supply. This is the moment. He is going to absolutely overwhelm his opponent. Finally getting a +1 armor upgrade on his infantry. MbL thinks he's... Let's take a look at his vision and see when he realizes that the Flemish Revolution has happened. I mean, sorry, he does know it's happened. When he realizes that it's coming straight towards his base here, head on. Custeliers on the left. Flemish militia on the right. Range in the middle. And MbL is about to get swamped. An absolute epic turn of events here. The Viper stopping along the way to demolish some houses. I mean, look at this. Look at this. How much army supply for the Viper on one screen? What is that? 123, 132, 136, 139. 142 army supply on one screen. Isn't that just bonkers? Isn't that just bonkers? What the hell can you do? Take a look at their stats. Armor, horrible. Attack, pretty damn decent. HP 60. What the hell can you do here? And even though he's got 51 army supply, and even though he's held a little bit, still has a castle up, there is nothing. Okay, finally repopulated these farms here. I'm surprised it took him that long, although maybe not. His resources are terrible. Meanwhile, take a look at the Viper's resources. Oh my god, almost 10,000 food. If this didn't work, I'm assuming he would have started spamming the Hussars at some point. Or the light cav, I guess, at this stage. But what an absolute fun game, man. What the hell do you do when there is 140 army supply in one screen bearing down on you? My goodness, kill count. The Viper almost double, 380 kills to the 207 of his opponent. Villager kills 75-6. This is the real story. If MbL still had 100, let's say 10, 120 villagers, maybe he could have held a bit longer. Maybe he could have defended better. I think maybe the wall offs could have been a bit tighter for MbL to protect. I mean, you know, like I said in the beginning, the Burgundians very much, at least initially in the mid to late game, a cavalry civilization. Right now at the end, very much not a cavalry civilization with 125 Flemish militia. But earlier on, the Knights, the Custeliers, the Custeliers, as they're technically called, the light cav, you need to wall yourself off much better than this. This is his initial wall off. And so not investing in any kind of stone. Remember, the Mayans, the stone walls are half price. If there's any civ, it's not like he's playing the Cumans, it's not like he's playing the Goths. If there's any civ that allows you to build walls, it's the Mayans. And so MbL, I think, just not as tight as he should have been in terms of walling this off. There was plenty of time, I believe, and ultimately just gets swarmed. 237 Arbalests, 139 Flemish Militia, APM for both players, above hero level almost. Although for the Viper coming in at the earlier stage of the game for MbL about 15 minutes ago, economy, the Viper should be significantly ahead. My God. Yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier. When you let a player like MbL or the Viper or Hera or Mr. Yo or any of these top 15, top 20 players, Hart, Nikov, Modri, etc., go unharassed. Remember, only 6 villager kills here for MbL. When you let them go unharassed, this is what happens. He's up 10,000 wood. He's up 27,000, 26,000 food. Relic's not really playing a role here. He's up 2,500 gold. MbL, okay, did a good job, about 1,500 or so, 1,600 stone. So enough stone for 2.5 castles difference. But my goodness, Convert's also not really playing a role here. 46 raisings for the Viper, but man, it is a tough draw, Mayans versus Burgundians, especially in the late game when this kind of stuff happens. Remember, like anyone and everything in this game, it seems like these guys also come with an attack bonus against Eagle Warriors. So had he gone Eagles, he'd be facing a unit that had a 15 attack, and then on top of that, a +2 attack against Eagles. Now, the only thing I will say is the Mayans, as I said in the beginning, with El Dorado, their Eagles are the tankiest in the game at 100 HP when fully maxed out. So he could have done that, instead choosing to go ranged units, and ultimately just overwhelmed. A simple, classic game here by the Viper, where he sat down, put his head down, and just kept producing more and more civilian population, more farmers, more lumberjacks, miners of all kinds. MbL never really getting that aggression, that rating that he needed, because he went archers. I was very excited to see a few Eagles earlier on, hoping that we would get to see both players raiding the hell out of each other, even though, believe me, all these picture-in-pictures do, they take a while. So while I do love to see it, part of me also says, maybe a big head-on battle is better. That's just the lazy part of me. But in any event, the Viper here just outplaying his opponent this game, ties the series 1-1, takes the W, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.